Okay, welcome. This is going to be part one in a series of videos that I'm going to be doing on how to make spirit dolls. So this is kind of like an introductory video. And I'm standing up while I do this video because for some reason my video feed keeps stopping on me, even though I've increased the memory on my phone. So let's see how this goes. So my name is Shelley May. I'm a Cree Métis mixed media artist based out of Rocky Mountain House, Alberta, Canada. And so Rocky Mountain House is located on Treaty 6 territory. I'm a Treaty 6 band member of Montreal Lake Cree Nation, which is located in central northern Saskatchewan. And in my years of doll making, I've learned that traditionally Cree women used to make buckskin dolls to gift to their European husbands' family members. They'd also make them for their children to teach them about roles and responsibilities. So I always tell people I'm a modern Métis woman, so I use modern supplies mixed with some traditional elements and definitely traditional teachings. So when I share my workshops, I do try to incorporate sharing that piece of knowledge about Cree, the history of Cree dolls. I don't know a lot because there's not a lot out there, but I know there's some people out there that have some teachings, and I'm sure I will learn more as I continue on my artist journey. But for now, that's what I know about Cree dolls. I do know that the dolls varied in terms of materials used based on where the tribe was from. So like Iroquois, they would use corn husks, hence the corn husk doll. The Hopi, they use cottonwood roots for their kachina dolls, and so on and so forth. So you could tell where a doll originated from based on the materials used. So I am in the process actually of making a traditional Cree doll. I'm just kind of right now brainstorming ideas, but I got my hide here, and I'm gonna just make a small Cree doll for teaching purposes to go along with my workshops. It's not one of my passions to work with leather, so I do work with it on my dolls, but I'm not huge into super traditional crafts, but I do love the teachings, and I do incorporate some of the stuff into my artwork. I like working with contemporary stuff, so I try to mix in both. And so I think it's important that I at least make a buckskin doll to share with people how one would typically look, and also just so I can, try it to see how hard they were to make, and who knows, maybe I might end up liking them. You never know, right? So anyways, so how I got started making spirit dolls was during my recovery of having a radical hysterectomy, and I basically had to use a cane to walk. It was a nightmare. I don't want to get into that. I can talk about that another time. But in my healing process, I came across this amazing artist named Jennifer Albin, who is Soul Whisper Arts on Instagram and Facebook. And she's not really that active anymore, but her dolls are so beautiful and amazing, and they inspired me to try doll making. So I started she used paper clay for her faces, and I didn't have paper clay available to me at that time, but I was able to go to our local Walmart and find air dry clay. And this is actually one of the first dolls, not the first dolls, but this is one of the type of dolls that I used to make. It's hand molded air dry clay and hand painted, and this one is mounted on a piece of driftwood that I actually did work right into the structure of the doll, so its body. And I wrapped fabric around it, put this cool sort of faux fur as hair. I had this brooch in my stash of junk jewelry that I had got from a flea market in Calgary. And yeah, it came alive, and it became a little star person doll, and I absolutely love it. My son had claimed it at the time, and it hung in his room for years until recently. He's like, Mom, I don't want this doll anymore. I'm like, okay. So it's forever with me now as a link to my past as a doll maker, so I can share with other people, how I started, the kind of dolls I started making. So I'm going to get back into making these kind of dolls soon, because I want to learn how to do pit firing and working with natural clay to do more of these kind of dolls, because I really miss the molding process. So anyway, so that's one kind of doll that I made. And I harvested the driftwood in Calgary as well. We have beautiful Bow River that flows along through the city there in Calgary, where I used to live before moving to Rocky, and harvested a lot of driftwood along the river in ceremony. So what I would do is I'd go for a walk, and if I came across a beautiful piece of driftwood, I would pull my tobacco out. In our traditional teachings, we were taught never to take without giving. So I lay my tobacco down, say a little prayer. Ask first, though. Ask permission from the wood, because everything has spirit. Everything has spirit in it. And if we don't do ceremony before we take, we can traumatize what we're taking. So this is important teaching in our traditional Cree ways, and a lot of other indigenous tribes also do the same thing. So I lay after I get permission from the wood or the plant or whatever it is I'm harvesting from the land, I lay my tobacco down, say a little prayer, thank you, gratitude. Tell the wood what I'm taking it for as well, so it knows, which is to heal the two-legged, which is us, to make these beautiful dolls to be shared with other people to help on their healing journey. So that sort of sums it up in a nutshell really quickly. I don't want this video to be too long, so I apologize for kind of rushing through it, but I can share more, and you can always ask questions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. But that's kind of how I harvest from the land. And then, when I come home, I make my dolls. And so these are the kinds of dolls I used to make a lot of, but don't really do too much anymore. More recently, I've started doing a lot more. And I think the reason why I don't do those kind of dolls as much anymore is because I'm so busy doing workshops. So I got into doing polymer clay, which is what these all are here. This is all polymer clay, and it's just a push mold. Now, this mold is around my house somewhere, and I cannot find it for the life of me. So I had to go out and purchase a new face molds. I purchased a couple. This isn't my new face mold that I purchased recently, so that's being used in my workshops now. This is a moon face mold that I got from, I can't even remember the company, but I bought it at Michael's. Did I buy it at Michael's? No, I ordered it online on Amazon. I just can't remember the name of it. I apologize for that. But I'm not a huge fan of this mold, so I ended up gifting it to our local friendship center here in Rocky Mountain House that has a youth program for Indigenous youth, and so that they can make dolls with their youth. So, so those are what I make a lot of. So all these dolls here, I actually made them in workshops that I taught. So when my students are making their dolls, I make a doll with them. So all these ones here were birthed at spirit doll workshops. These three here, and this one too. This one's not finished. So actually, they're all not kind of finished. They all still need a few more things done to them, but this one I made at home. I love the buttons on that one. I use buttons a lot because to me, buttons are like a symbol of unfastening those limiting beliefs and programming that a lot of us carry. This is one I made when I first moved to Rocky. I actually just punched a hole with a stick in the top because I didn't know how well it was gonna stick, because I was new to doing polymer clay and I wasn't sure how well it would stick to wood. So that's another thing you can do if you're having trouble mounting your polymer clay or whatever kind of clay you're using. You can put holes in the cheeks or the head, like put it on the side though, and you can tie string through it. You can loop a string through it and tie it onto the stick if you want. So, and I'll show you that process later in another video. Today we won't get into clay dolls. We're gonna do these ones today in a separate video, because this is going to be a series, like I said. There's another one of my dolls. I'm going to be sharing with you all how to make these ones today, because I just sent off some kits to Ontario and it came with directions, but it's always good to see the process. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Here's another one, and these dolls aren't finished, and the reason why they're not finished is that I have to put a loop on the back. I usually do one of these loops on the back of each doll so they can be hung on the wall. So it's just wire, and this one doesn't have one yet, so I gotta do that. But I also smudge all my dolls when I'm done making them, and I write a soulful message. So each doll will get tagged, and like this, it'll have a tag with it. I'll do some pretty maybe inking on the tag or something, and then I'll write the name of the doll. This one's called Magic Maker, and so it'll say Magic Maker Bundle Wrap Spirit Doll, and then I'll write a soulful message on this to go with this doll that is specific for the keeper that it's going to. How do I know the keeper it's going to? I don't. Spirit knows the keeper that the doll is going to. So the message is going to be for that specific person, and I have no idea who it is. So it's always the right message. The right person always gets the doll that they are drawn to. Okay? So, and that brings me to another question. What is a spirit doll? So a spirit doll to me is connecting with the Holy Spirit or the Great Spirit, your higher self, whatever name you want to label, that's what it is. It's not a negative thing. It's to connect you with spirit, and help to remind you who you really truly are as a spiritual being. This one's a little medicine doll, little bear medicine doll, grandmother bear, and it has a little medicine bag here that I put some little herbs in here. I tied it in kind of like a tobacco tie, which is like taking a square piece of fabric, putting a little bit of herbs inside, and then tying it, and then tying it onto your doll. So that's how I like to put medicines on my doll. But you can certainly stuff your doll with medicines however way you want. There's so many different ways to make dolls, but essentially spirit dolls are a reminder of our spiritual truth and the fact that they are similar to us, and the fact, you know, that they have a sort of body and we have bodies. They make the perfect little tool to remind us of who we really are. And I like having closed eyes on most of my dolls because it's that reminder to go within ourselves and connect. Here's another doll. So the doll I'll be showing you how to make today is going to be very similar to this one in the fact that this one is made with a paper face. These ones are all hand painted on the wood by me. This one is actually constructed with a paper face, and this is exactly how I do my dolls in my spirit doll workshops. When I go to spirit doll workshops, people get to choose either a clay face or a wood face with a paper face mounted on it. Okay, show you a couple more. This is actually a funny looking little doll because she's really cute, but I won't make these again. I just wanted to try it. It was just for just to see how it would go. This is actually a spoon, now that we're seeing a lot of compostable spoons and forks and knives and straws and things like that out there. I can't remember where I was at, but I had been given a compostable spoon. And I was like, you know what, this would make a great doll structure. So I kept it, painted it, and wrapped it all up and made a little doll out of it just to see how well it would work. And she's pretty cute. I might have to try a few more just to know if I really like them. But I love the oval face. I'm not a huge fan of her face, and there were some things about it that I wasn't too, excited about, but she's okay. I actually prefer the round faces. Here's another little bear doll that I made. She's super glamorous and pretty. Here's another bear doll. Bear comes out a lot in my work because I am Bear Clan, and I'm also a practical herbalist. So I've been studying traditional medicine and herbs my whole life, and so Bear is like a little Bear teaches us so much about plants and medicine. So I think that's one of the reasons why I'm drawn to her. But they're also the medicine people. Bear people. If you're from a Bear Clan, you're the medicine people, and you were the ones responsible for protecting your clan, is what I was taught. This one is called Blueberry Ceremony. So it's got one of my hand-painted blueberries. This is actually a paper of a blueberry that I cut out, but the original artwork was mine that I had done up of a blueberry. I think I used pencil, crayon, and marker and ink for that painting, and then I just sized them to different sizes, and I use them in my artwork. Blueberries are very important to our culture. Here's another one that I did. This is another hand-painted face, and I use a lot of ribbon skirt scraps in my artwork. So this one here, this fabric here came from Indigenous Nauvoo. I don't know if I'm saying that. I can never say her last second part of her business name properly. Indigenous Nouveau, something like that. Anyways, she's a Métis artist from BC, and she does amazing fabric of her own and other amazing creations. She's super talented, and I always purchase her ribbon skirt scraps from her to make dolls with. I also get gifted a lot of this this sort of Métis style fabric. I get a lot of that one from Moonstone Creations in Calgary. She always sends me her scrap ribbon skirt making fabric for free. So I'm super thankful to her. That's Yvonne at Moonstone Creations. This is another one that she had sent me, and you can even see the pieces of the ribbon skirt. Actually, this one was not from her. This one was from her, I believe, but this one wasn't. This one was from Bright Swan Creations and Redmond Customs. So they gave me a bunch of their, they gave them to my sister actually for me, so I picked them up from her. So, and here's another one with its little medicine bag. So all these, I still have to write messages to go with these dolls. Here's another one that has little jingles on the side. These are actually hearts that I collage myself. They're wood, and I do just little mini collages on each of them, and I'm just looking to see if I have any close to me to show you, but I don't, so I'll show you after in the next video. But I got this beautiful fabric. You'll notice a lot of the fabric I have are very blingy or shiny. I actually got that from a friend of mine who knows somebody from a temple in Calgary where they use it to wrap their prayer books in, and then they bless them. Then when they're done with them, they just discard them. And so he got bags and bags of them. So he gifted them to me, and I gifted a bunch away, and then some of them I cut up into pieces and I use them in my workshops, and they're just gorgeous, right? Like, look at how beautiful that fabric is. This one is not part of that. This was actually a scarf, but this one was. This fabric is that blessed fabric. This is a piece that I'm going to be using for one of my videos that I'm going to do after this one. So yeah, so these are all different dolls. They all have messages to share with their future keepers once I write them up. And they'll all be available at some point when I'm finished doing up their messages, adding the last finishing touches to them. And some of them will be traditional messages, like this one here is a bear, again, another bear medicine, grandmother bear with her little medicine bag. So she's gonna carry the teachings of grandmother bear. This one is called Blueberry Ceremony, so she's gonna carry the teachings of the blueberry. This one here is, like I said earlier, Magic Maker. So she's gonna, this is not gonna be a traditional teaching doll. This one is gonna be just sharing that we're all magic, and that you can use your magic to create your reality and change your world. So yeah, they're all gonna have these different messages that are gonna help, hopefully, the person that they're going to connect with their own power, their own truth, their own inner magnificence, if that makes sense. So all right, so this is I'm wrapping up this video. It's part 1, and I'm going to move on to part 2, where we're going to start with the basic construction of one of these style of dolls that'll actually be more like this one here. Not sure if it'll be the same face, but it will be this style of doll. So on to part 2.